welcome back to my channel. So today is possibly my most requested video ever and my most asked question, and that is, what is the plastic tray in the base of your rat cage? Where did you buy this? How did you make this? And up until now I've only been able to direct you to other resources. I've not been able to physically show you because 3 or 4 years ago when I made that perspex tray for my old rat cage, I just wanted to get it done. I wasn't really thinking about filming it, and that has been a big regret because I get asked about this all the time and I've not been able to show you until now with my new rat cage. So today I'm going to show you how to measure, order and make a perspex tray for the base of your rat cage. Before that though, I just wanted to quickly show you the new merch that is on my Teespring store. This is the Hello I Am design. This comes in a mum, dad or parent option. However you identify, there's an option for you on Teespring if you want to support us and support the channel. There is also another new design, which is the Tell Your Rats I Said Hi design. These are available on t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, mugs. All of these I've designed myself and all will support the channel. So if you do pick anything up, please tag me on social media because I would love to see you also wearing these too. But without further ado, here is how you make a custom perspex tray for the base of your rat cage. And you might be watching this wondering, what's the point? Why are you doing this? I say these are pretty important in a rat cage because most don't come with very deep bases, or they have completely wire on the bottom, which isn't suitable for rats to be standing on. So we want to make a deeper base. It's really important for rats to be able to dig and forage and even burrow if they have enough bedding. So making a deeper perspex tray helps them to do this. So here is how you do it. Okay, so to make a box shape to sit inside of this tray, we need measurements to make all 5 pieces. So the base that will rest at the bottom, the 2 longer sides at the front and the back, and then also the 2 shorter sides, this side and this side. So this cage that I have is the Little Zoo Ventura, and you might also have the same cage, but it's really important to measure the cage that you have in front of you, just in case there's any slight differences with how it's being manufactured. They might be slightly different sizes, so don't blindly copy my measurements because it might not fit. Okay, so ignoring the shelf and the water bowl that I cannot be bothered to take out, first we're going to measure the long side. So I'm not sure how well you can see this, but it is about 89.5 centimeters exactly, and you don't want to go with the exact measurement because otherwise it's going to be a very, very tight fit and you're going to have a nightmare trying to get it in and out if you need to clean it or change it or do whatever. So that can be a bit risky to go with the exact measurement because you might not get the tray to actually go inside of the other tray, the metal tray that the cage comes with. So take a little bit off of that measurement. I think I might go with 89 centimeters, possibly even 85.5, just to be safe. So just doing the same thing with the shorter sides, I think this one is 59.5 centimeters exactly, and again we don't want to go with the exact measurement, so I'm going to go with just 59 centimeters. So in terms of the actual height of the perspex tray, this is entirely up to you how tall you want to go. I think in my previous cage, in the Pet Planet cage, it was 20 centimeters I think, and I didn't really find this to be enough, so I definitely want it to be more than that. I don't really want to go much more than this line because this is really handy to hang things on and I don't want to lose another space to hang things, so maybe right underneath that, that is about 28 to 27 centimeters, so maybe 28 centimeters. I really want a deep perspex tray that I can put lots of bedding in, they can burrow in this, but it does take away from climbing space, so of course keep that in mind too. So this time as well I am actually going to make mini perspex trays to go into one of the shelves that the cage comes with. These shelves are actually pretty good. They can hold some bedding, not really enough to make it worth putting any in, but they can hold something, so that means I can also make a perspex tray that will fit into this really nicely, and I think I'm going to have it go up to maybe about here, and that can either be a litter tray or a mini dig box, anything I want to use it for. So I'm also going to measure it using the exact same method to make a mini perspex tray for that too. Okay, so here is one of the trays that goes in the cage, and this is stay still. Just about 55 centimetres I think, so I'm going to go with about 54 centimetres on the long side, and then it is just about 30 centimetres on the short sides, so let's go with 29 centimetres. And then for these I don't really want to go too high, I'm thinking maybe 10 centimetres or 15 centimetres high. That seems really small. Let's go with 15. Probably only about that. So the little mini perspex tray for this is going to be about 54 by 29 by 15 centimetres. So now that we have the long side and the short side, we can then work out what pieces we need and how much they should measure. So let me try to explain that. So when it comes to actually ordering all of the pieces, I do recommend drawing yourself a diagram like this, just to kind of understand all of the measurements and what you need. Obviously you are going to need a base. Some people choose to just do the sides, obviously it's up to you, but this holds the entire thing together and makes it a lot less floppy, it makes it more sturdy. And then obviously the two shorter sides and then the two longer sides too. So for the base piece, the biggest piece, I've gone for 3mm thick. It doesn't have to be as thick as the other pieces. You can do if you want to, but this is going to cost more of course. And it is a bit of a waste because it doesn't matter as much if this is a bit more floppy. But if you want to go thicker you can, but I've gone for 3mm, and then the rest of the pieces I have gone a bit thicker. You can go maybe 4mm or even 5mm. Just beware, the thicker you go, it is going to be more expensive. So for that base piece, this is just the dimensions I measured earlier, just converted into millimetres, just because the website I used to order the perspex works in millimetres instead. So that is 885mm by 590mm, and then obviously the 3mm thickness. Then moving on to the long sides, obviously we want two of these, and the dimensions being the long side is 885mm by 280mm. So this dimension here is the actual height of the perspex as it sits in the cage, going up the cage, and how deep you want the tray. So I did go for about 28 centimetres, which is the 280mm. This obviously will change depending on how deep you want the tray, and that's the one that I've gone for. And lastly, of course, you want two of the shorter sides, and this is where it starts to get a bit complicated. Some people tend to skip this step. I'll try to explain this as simply as possible, but basically you've got the base piece like this that sits flat, and the other pieces sit on top of this, and these pieces obviously are thick perspex, so however thick you decided to go, my pieces are 4mm thick, and those are sitting either side, so you have to equate the thickness of that perspex when slotting in the other pieces. And because mine are 4mm thick, either side I have to take 8mm off of the original measurement, which would be 590mm, but instead taking away the thickness of those sides, it is 582mm instead. So I hope that makes sense. That makes the dimensions 582mm by 280mm, which again, that is the height of the perspex tray, however tall you've decided to make it. So those are the basic measurements and dimensions. I will try to show you when I've got it physically in front of me and built up what I mean about the thickness, but now it's time to order the perspex. Of course it depends on where you are, what country you're in, but I will show you the website that I use. Okay, so this is the website I use called The Plastic People. There might be others out there that are cheaper, and of course they are UK based, so if you're not in the UK you will have to find your own supplier, but we go to plastic and then acrylic because we don't want coloured acrylic. I mean, I guess you could, but I definitely don't. And then click on choose a plastic, go down to clear acrylic sheet, and then choose your thickness. So I'm just going to show you based on the base of the tray. I'm not going to do all of the pieces because I have already ordered mine. I'm just showing you how to use the website and how to order. So for the base piece it was 3mm thick, and then it was 590mm by 885mm, which is £19.09. I haven't mentioned this, but doing this can be quite pricey, especially for all of the pieces, and the thicker and the bigger you go, the price is going to go up. So that is just the price of it at the moment. So scrolling down, we've got the measurements, the thickness. We don't really want any of these. We don't want polished edges, no holes or cutouts, none of that. So basically just ignore all of that and then add to basket. So do that for all of your pieces, the base, the 2 short sides, the 2 long sides, and then place your order. You could also just buy big sheets of perspex and cut them yourself if you have something to cut them with. That might work out cheaper. Okay, so to stick the whole thing together, you're going to need a really strong tape. The brand I use is called Gorilla Tape, but there's many other brands on the market out there. You just need a really strong, thick, clear tape, or some people do use coloured or pattern tape. Whatever you want, just make sure you have a really strong tape to stick the entire thing together. You could also silicone on the inside just to make it a lot stronger and waterproof. I might do that later on, but that's also an option if you want to. So to go about doing this, I recommend placing the base piece on the ground and then placing half of the tape under this. Place the other pieces on top of the base piece and then fold the tape up to stick them together. This is the easiest way I found to do this, and I do recommend getting someone to help you because it kind of is a 2-person job. I've tried to do it by myself in the past and massively struggled and made mistakes, so if you can get someone to help you, it is really helpful just to have someone to hold the pieces in place or cut the tape for you. Otherwise it's going to be really tricky, so kind of is a 2-person job. As well as placing tape on the base, you also want to tape the side pieces together, just placing the tape on either side and folding it around, and this makes it really sturdy. So just doing this with all of the sides, and then you have your base tray ready to go into the cage. So we obviously put together the big base tray, the one that's going on the bottom of the cage, but we also did the miniature version that I measured for to go onto one of the shelves. Same exact process putting this together, doing the base and then also doing the sides. Same thing, just a miniature version. So here they are. In this one at the bottom is some paper-based pellets and then some shredded cardboard, and in the main one we've got kiln dried dust extracted shavings. So I need to put everything else back in and then put the rats back in. That is it for today's video. I hope it has been helpful and easy enough to follow. This will completely transform your rat cage and make it so much more usable for them, and also stop as much bedding getting kicked out on your floor, so it also benefits you as well. But I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!